Hello, welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations. Today we're speaking to you about how to prepare your business for sale. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Nick, how was your day kicking off so far?
Very good. 25 degrees, sunny.
Boy.
I'm about to go to the city and do some filming, so
Very
it's
good.
going to be good. I've even trimmed it all, so we're looking all nice and neat with the beard.
Streamlined. Good.
Streamlined.
Very good. Today we're talking about what you need to do to prepare your business for sale. Some business owners, the outcome is to grow a successful business and then eventually sell it. But there is some strategy involved before you go, I just want to sell my business tomorrow. So we're going to dig into that today. Nick, what are the first initial things that you need to be thinking about when you're about to prepare your business for sale or thinking about selling it in the coming future?
First of all, I think if we put some context around it,
Yeah.
I think people understand this a bit more. But ultimately, first of all, you've kind of got to be ready to sell your business. Because most people, it's been a lifetime or a reasonably long part of their life that they've run their business. So, getting rid of your baby, so to speak, is always a little bit hard, especially if you've never really set up to sell it and now you want to sell it, or now you're thinking of selling it. So, And I think there's some stages. There's the stages of, hey, I've had a thought. If it sort of comes across, maybe it's cool. B, man, I'm just tired of waking up every day. I'm, getting a bit more mature in age. I want to do a little bit easier. And then C, hey, you know what? It's probably time to retire. It's time for us to move on. Or D, there's the, hey, you know what? I'm going to sell this because I've changed my, inspiration to something else that I want to do. And these are all common grounds, Or, then there's E, things are really tough. I need to sell the business. All right. There's kind of different stages of it. But the sort of 5 areas that I'm thinking are pretty much applied to all of those. Now, we all know, as business owners, we're not silly. Selling a business in distress is going to be a tough way for you to get out, especially from a financial point of view. It's because, when there's blood in the water, the sharks are going to come. And then we're not stupid. We'd do exactly the same, right? Anybody that knows they can get it for a bargain, obviously it's the way. I've been talking with a new client recently. They're in a particular field, without crossing any privacy issues. And there's 3 businesses that were their competitors. Through COVID, there's been a scenario, and they all bought, those businesses that are multi-million-dollar businesses. They bought them for $1 down, which is great tactic, and they're terrific. So now I want to actually talk about that in another podcast. How to buy business for $1 down. It's pretty awesome. This guy,
okay, cool.
Mastered it, and I've studied with people to know more about that. So I think your frame of mind has got a lot to do with the business, and like with the business sale, have you got the ability where time is on your side? Have you got the ability for you to make sure that you get maximum return, because that's the ultimate, right? You've worked hard, you've built a business, and let's call it anything other than a distress sale, right? You've worked hard, you've built a business, so it makes sense that you get rewarded for all these hard efforts, especially to see the legacy keep on moving. So now, do you see what I mean? Now, by the way, this is probably the one time where emotion needs to be in check. I usually say we're emotional beings. Emotion's part of it, but in a sale of a business, emotion needs to be in check, right? Because it could be, costly, or it could be, played on, in the negotiation part. So that's
right. Okay.
So getting your head ready for the game is the key.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Committed, go for it. If you're just fishing, cool, I get it. But this is more for somebody that's committed, that goes, yep, it's time to move on. At the end
Great. Good starting point.
Now, there's 5 key areas. I'm going to start with this. Number 1 is the model. And what I mean with the model for your business is, what type of business is it? Is it is the business kind of reliant on you? Is the model all based on you? Like, with us, it used to be Nick Silent, there's the brand, and that's me. Where, 5 years ago or so, we shifted it to Upcoach. I could literally pull out of the brand, and Upcoach is still there. So, it's not around me anymore. I'm not the only one that does the content.
Yep.
For onboarding and sales and stuff. I don't need to be there. You guys can do it at it. Most of the times, from a coaching perspective, clients sign up, they join one of the coaches, and the model's not based around me. So you've got to go, which side of the business is it? Is it a building company, as an example, that you're in construction, that the model's all built around your name? James Hardy, it's his name. You've got to think about where it is. Now, obviously, James Hardy's a different monster. No one even recognizes that. Harvey Norman, like the thing, and like the stores don't go, hey,
is Jerry here?
Mr. Norman here, is Jerry there yet? It doesn't work that way. So they've built it to a point where it's gone beyond that. But in some smaller businesses, it's the model. Now, is the model reliant on you from the perspective of, that you're the expert within the model itself? You're the only guy that can do it. As an example, if you're a surgeon, you can't sell that as a business. You're the surgeon. Doesn't matter how many other people you got, you're the surgeon. People want to go to you, because you're the specialist in that area.
Right.
And some are like that, and that's called like a thought leader model. Matt Church is Matt Church. You can't go, it's Matt Church and Co. He's done that. He's teamed up with other, thought leaders as an example, but the expertise is him, and the models are built around that. Taki Moore that we know. It's black belt, but it really is built around Taki, So they're James Shremko, really these people that we know, and it's cool. But if you think about TNC as an example, traffic and conversion, it used to be Ryan Dice, but now it's not. Traffic and conversion is just a group of experts that come together, and, it's the model for running live events and all of that stuff.
Right. Okay.
So once again, what type of business is it? Because the model is going to dictate a lot. The model will dictate how much kind of money you get for it and whether you can actually sell it. And some people think, I've got a good, business, I could sell it. And by the way, is it something like a multi-level marketing model that you're technically just a reseller for another brand? You can't go and sell that. It's really difficult to sell unless it's a big, multi-million-dollar, 3,000 people down on the leg, and you're making money off it. But even that's going to be hard, because if the company then goes, no, we don't like whoever you're going to bring into here, and you can't sell it, because technically, what are you selling? You're at the mercy of the company that you're selling the products for.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
You see what I mean? It's like sort of selling a Jim's Mowing franchise and reselling your Jim's Mowing franchise to somebody else. If Jim says, not Jim, but if the directorship on Jim says no, it doesn't matter what you're about to do. You're about to go,
can't sell it
I can't do anything, because technically, what are you selling? You're sort of selling something, but you're a reseller of a product. So there's a question mark there versus XYZ mechanic shop that's I don't know, two good mechanics. Has got nothing to do with the mechanic themselves. Sure, is there something to do, but at the end of the day, as long as the job's getting done on the cars, they're pretty cool, and the owner's pretty cool. So it works like that, right? So the model is really, really important.
Yeah. So I was going to say that the main question here is the model saleable?
Is the model saleable? Very, very much.
Can it be sold? Can you actually sell it?
And what type of model is it? Is it self-reliant? Is it reliant on self, or can it be non-reliant on self? Because the ones that are non-reliant on self are worth more than reliant on self.
Yes, absolutely.
Hypothetically, let's say for me, if I said, hey, Chris, Chris is the new face of Upcoach, that's cool. I can back away because it's still Upcoach.
That's
it's
right.
not Nick Seiler as much. Sure, I'm still a big part of the brand, but I'm not all the brand.
Yes.
And that's a clever move that we made, right? That was cool.
Very good. Okay, great. What's the next one?
Number 2, how do you receive income? This is really important. And here's what I mean. Number 1 is all your work contracted. Have you got government contracts to build, I don't know, swimming pools for the government? I don't know, public
Schools, councils, that
schools
sort of stuff.
council,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Could be, the public pool contract for New South Wales, right? There's
Yep.
a lot of public pools, right? So, have you got the contract that goes, hey, this company builds all our pools? Because that automatically is a, tick. And just think what we're trying to do here is create a tick/scoreboard type method of, if I get the highest score, it means the business is appealing to somebody that's going to buy it. So now, if it's contracted, it means that's secure, which is pretty cool. Now, sometimes though with the contract, if you change owners, there could be a little bit of a clause going, can this person uphold it? And usually you can prove to go, I've had already this level of experience, I'm coming into the business, or you could have somebody kind of on the board of directors, that's the old owner, that gets paid $1 a year, but they're still, part of it that can uphold that level of contract. Think of it. Now, the second part of that is it, that you need to go out and get work continuously? So if it's not contracted, is it, let's call it, you're a plumbing company with 15 people working for you that you need to go out and get work constantly. Maybe you specialize in hot water systems, or you do, I don't know, residential work or commercial work where you need to keep on tendering on stuff to win that work. So once again, how do you receive income? Is it, an ongoing part? Now, an ongoing part is actually called a monthly recurring revenue model. So with us at UpCoach, not only are we contracted, but we get cash flow or income in every month rather than lump sums. We've got to manage it. So every month people pay us, as you know. So that's not only contracted, but it's monthly recurring revenue. And in the goal of how to sell a business, it is the ultimate, because it's contracted and it's recurring revenue from a cash flow point of view, because cash flow, and cash reserve comes into it as you're selling it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, how do you receive income? That's a very, very important part. Is it, we finished the work and then we've got nothing else and then that's it, and then we've got to find more work, and we work with businesses that are like this.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things that we work with clients is, how do we turn what you're earning into a recurring revenue as fast as possible? Like, how do we generate those income streams which are on repeat month in, month out? Because it's one of the best forms in order not only to grow your business, but in order to make it saleable as well. But that's a really good point. Great. What's next?
Yeah, because, as we know, you could have a portion of your business that does that, where that technically pays for all your overheads, and then the rest is kind of profit, right? Which is cool, right? Number three, how process driven is the business? And what I mean by this is, as an example, if I wanted to take a month off starting today, you guys in the company could pretty much handle it. It's kind of business as usual, right? Still keep doing your coaching. If we've got new people that are coming in, Lana can book them in. You guys can talk to them. You can take them through, the strategy session, next step session. You can close them. Lana knows how to do the contracts. Like, everybody's kind of, the machine is working. Social media will keep going. Coaches will still keep doing what they do.
Correct.
All of that stuff is kind of cool. So I could back away from it. Now, is it going to affect the income? Well, it will at some levels, but even I can intertwine you guys into my coaching and go, hey, Chris is going to take over for the next month or so. Here's all the notes. I've brought you up to speed. We're cool. You've got the skill set that I have. No problem. We're moving. Now, if that was, hey, it's cool, but, a big portion of the business is live events and people want to see Nick, well, then we got a problem. That process is cool, but it's got a flaw in it, right? So not a flaw, I mean, it's just limited to what it can do. Now, if I said to you, hey, Chris, run the Business Reinvention Roadshow, I've got no doubt you'll get up to speed, because you can still speak and you'll get up on stage. And will you do as good a job as me? Probably. You do a different job to me. But you don't have the experience that I have for that stuff, right? Right? Because it's edutainment at the end of the day, right? It's kind of what we do. So, and what I'm saying is it processed to the point of, for us, I could step away and we could still onboard new coaches. You guys already know how to do it. who, put an ad in, so who comes in, take them through. We're building this intranet and infrastructure that we can move people through, because the ultimate is that we want to, maybe franchise some of it next year, come on as an up coach and all of those things. So, there's an element of process. Now, if you're building, I don't know, rockets for Elon Musk, that process is going to be cool, but let me tell you, you're going to need some experts doing, and you can't get Joe Blow and take 3 years to try to train them to get up to speed, because the contracts go, hey, you need to build us 15 rocket engines a year.
Yep, sure.
We don't care who you get, as long as they're up to spec and they work perfectly.
That's right.
Not half perfectly,
Perfectly.
all the time, always. So because that's what you get paid for. You know what I mean? Like Lockheed Martin builds F-18s and 22s and 23s and all this, military product. It works perfectly all the time, or else jet bang. And even though they can eject out of it, you don't want to hammer a $200 million jet into the ground. Cost you money, right? So
that's right.
But the processes need to be clear. So are your processes good, or is it it's all up here in your head? Because if it is, that's going to be tough, because when somebody goes to buy it, they're like, I don't know how the hell they do anything here. I don't know what they do. And recently we've proven it with ourselves. A new coach came on, the processes are at 50%. He's got the look for stuff and all of that stuff. And, me, you, Tony, and that, we've been years, so we get it, but we've had to tidy that part up to the point of now what we're building is awesome, right? The information's in the right place.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And get people up to speed. So the question here is, can your processes get people up to speed from, coming into the business to get them fully operational quickly?
And does your business run without you? Because this is something that
without some of your key personnel too. That's because
that's a good point.
Going to buy it, maybe they're going to move on, or maybe they bring their own team with them. No, that's a big part. With this particular company that I'm talking about, each business that they bought have team members that have come with it.
Right.
Like, oh man, no, we're not used to doing it like that. We do it like this. So guess what? We're having to really tidy up all of that stuff because it's about to expand. And, when they're at full capacity, there may be 200, 300 personnel. And when they're not, they're at 30.
Wow.
It's a different ballgame.
Yeah, totally.
I mean? Yeah. So, and you've got a lot of non-skilled, just labor type personnel that need to follow some level of process, or else there's, injury that can happen. There's, unhappy customer that can happen. There's, quality of work drops down because you're trained, you're technically, you don't get, kid gymnasts at Cirque du Soleil. You know what I mean? Like they're the best of the best. They're all Olympians.
Yeah.
That's kind of the entry point. You're an Olympian. Yeah. You qualify for Cirque du Soleil because you need to be at that level. They're not getting even the clowns and all of that stuff, like you see them and you think they're all like Galoopy and stuff. And they look like they're one of the public, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're trained athletes.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they're doing 3 shows a day. Like
And
if you look at something like the Cirque du Soleil that's in the water, it's like $200 million for the production to create it. They do 2 or 3 shows a day, and the athletes, there's 3 of each person, and almost all of them are Olympians. Almost all of them.
Wow.
Because man, the stuff that they're doing defies you just to train somebody up. There's no even if they said to me, "You're the guy handing out the popcorn," I reckon there's a way that they do it, and you've really got to see it to understand it.
Yeah.
That's why it's a brand in itself. The best of the best at Cirque du Soleil. They defy gravity. It's crazy how they do this stuff. So you see what I mean? Like even if your process is the best, let's say if you were Michael Jackson, he was getting ready for his last tour, right, to do it, and unfortunately passed away. That was Michael Jackson and Cirque du Soleil together. It was insane. I've seen what it looks like without Michael Jackson when they did the 3D animation stuff, and it was the production was just it's Michael Jackson level quality. It's so the processes that would have gone. I reckon I think they rehearsed it for 2 years before they were about to rock.
Yeah,
and then unfortunately passed away for 2 years. For a 90-minute show. Like that's the level, right? So with your business, from a process point of view, can somebody come in and go, yeah, cool, I get it, and can I follow those? Because the easier they are, the more your business is worth. Once again,
Yeah, right. And it needs to be documented in some way, whether it's software, written, video.
Correct.
There needs to be easily communicated.
Easily
and accessible.
communicated. Well, we've got that thing, right? If an 8-year-old can understand it, it's a good process.
It's a great process.
It's a great process, right? So, so process is another.
Very good. Next one.
Number 4, is there expansion options? And what I mean by this is, are you the biggest fish in the marketplace? Do you already have 70 or 80% of the marketplace? And for you to try to get the other 20, it's going to be tough. Or, is there an expansion option where you can buy more businesses? Where your business goes, you know what, hey, we can go buy our competitors out like this other business has done. They've bought 3 of their competitors out. So now they're, the juggernaut, and around Australia, they're probably top 3 now. So, and the way that they've grown is they've bought businesses to grow, which is awesome. It's a very clever way to do it. You're buying market share, so is there the ability for you to do that? And what I mean by that is, let's say, I don't know, if you're a builder, can you go buy 2 out to other builders that are semi-retiring, but you get them on your board, so you've got their builder's license and maybe the homeowner's warranty that comes with that as well. You amalgamate it together, and now you've got 3 of your competitors that are under your brand now. And with this other business, we're going to rebrand it to be one group. So you see, once again, the expansion options have been excellent. And this is a big business. So once again, for you, can we go out and buy other coaches that come with a book? And the answer is probably, yes at some levels, and no at some levels. Because no at some levels is it's a single coach that they've been doing stuff with. If he comes and works for us, great. But if not, like if they leave, then the clients probably go, no, I don't want to change, and I like him or whatever. So that's a little bit tough. But from our business, is there expansion from where it comes to, people have retired in their career, as an example. They've been very good at what they do in business. They want to give back. They like to, coach, or they like to teach, but they've never really had a coaching structure and or model where they're not sure where they get leads from, where we could do all of that. So our expansion it's pretty awesome. We could scale this 30 times, 50 times bigger than where it's at. It's not uncommon for us, if we really wanted to go for it, that you'd have 100 franchisees of UpCoach. We've got the model already. It's built. We tailor into a particular level with particular clients, with particular, so anybody that wants that kind of join with that. And, our coaches aren't 18-year-olds. They're not, I did a course on the weekend and now I'm that. No. They're, mature in age, usually.
Spent time running their own businesses as well.
They've spent time running their own businesses. You guys, everyone's a $1 million business owner in their own right. Years of experience in business, enough slaps in the face to get leather skin. There's all of these things that come with it. So once again, I think expansion options are really, really critical, because if you're in a marketplace, I don't know, let's say you're in engineering or mining or something like that, and you go, hey, we've only got 1/10 of it, but it's already a $10 million business. You're like, oh man, there's good opportunity there, because these contracts come up and there's more of this stuff happening. Just my wife was telling me, it's an online fitness program that what the hell is it called?
Oh, is that Peloton?
Peloton. Yeah, she was saying that it's like $30 billion globally or something. And it's, I'm like, what? Like, it was a crazy amount of money. And COVID's been the best for that business ever. And the expansion options are massive. You know what I mean? Like the how many people are there? They're on the stock market. Like they're it's crazy, money. I think that their shares are like $85 now, on the US NASDAQ. It's pretty insane, right? Like it's, has grown. Like this is a online fitness, you know what I mean? Like brand that's just exploded, right? It's crazy. right? So, and it's a monthly recurring revenue model. It's, 15 to, $100, you know what I mean? Like it's awesome. They've grown, I think like Q1 revenue was like, 800. It's up for like $1 billion now. Look at the expansion options. That's why it's worth that. I mean, will I get that? Maybe not, but it's worth billions, right? It's pretty awesome. It's like Uber would be, or, any of these things that, Uber Eats is what? Expanded 5 times, 10 times or something like that throughout the global pandemic. So, there's companies that have been really, really cool. So once
Right.
again, what's
And
what's the opportunity?
I just want to pull back here for 3 seconds. If you're running a smaller business and you're not in the position to buy other businesses, expansion could look like opening a second store. It could look like bringing on additional vehicles and different additional employees. It could be taking or supplying or even selling a different market offering. So let's say you're a builder and then you go into doing pools, or you go into doing retaining walls. And Nick, you've done this with a client before. So, what are the expansion options? It doesn't necessarily have to be buying businesses outright. It could also be what's the possibility for your business right now to expand into different areas through geographic location, through employees,
Well, it could
through
be an amalgamation, right?
An amalgamation. Can you sell something different, from a product offering that's also going to expand the business?
That
So there's a
happens
few
all the
different
time.
options there.
We do this, you do that. We come together and we're stronger together, right? Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. There's options. And remember, you're setting this up for sale. So you're saying to somebody, hey, that there's these options, yeah?
Very good. What's the last one?
The next one is, and by the way, this could be a 2-day long topic that we could discuss, but I've just because I compressed it down into 30 minutes, is the sale type. Most people believe that the only way to sell your business is just, lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels, right? So, here it is, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. I'm out, we're done. But there's other options today, which is really, really cool. And, I've helped assist other people in their businesses for sale. And, some of the ones that we can look into as an example would be, do you retain a part ownership in the business? And for that, you supply vendor finance. So as an example, let's say if you wanted to sell Up Coach, I'm just throwing out there, it's 3 million, 4 million, in that 5 million, whatever it is, where I could go, look, it's $5 million sale. You can pay that to me over 4 years, 3 years. I'm going to retain 30% ownership within that. So any expansion that you do, the interest that you're going to pay for the vendor finance is, I want it every month. So, I get a check every month, which is cool. And I'm going to get 30% of anything that we're going to grow. So if you take it over, let's say if I sold it to you and you go, cool, we went from, I'm just throwing out there 2 million to 3 million, I get a 10% clip on that just to give you the money to be able to do it. So, and that's a pretty good option. It's like the dollar down principle to go,
right.
Hey, you don't have all the money. You might go, okay, Nick, it's, I've got $1 million out of it. Here's $1 million. And then I go, well, it's a $2 million sale as an example. So with that other $1 million, you're going to pay it to me over 3 years. Plus I want a 10%, clip on anything that you're going to make on top. So basically I'm lending you money for 10%, right? And that's not a bad thing because from a tax point of view, it could help for your super, there's ways around. I'm not going, I'm not technical, or I don't have the expertise, but I understand it, but I don't have the, the license to be able to tell you that, right? So I want you to think about it, that there's options there. The vendor finance option is very, very common. It's lucrative. You could say to somebody, hey, it's a franchise. We're going to sell you that. We still own that franchise until such time that you pay it, obviously it's contracted. And on top of that, for the next 2 years, we're going to take 10%, or we're going to be 10% owner. So anything that you make on top of whatever sale is, we get 10% just to lend you the money. Because without us, you wouldn't have been able to get in the field, so it's that stuff, so there's a lot of different sale options, 50% down, dollar down, and then I stay in the business for 2 years to help that transition. That happens a lot. I become, CEO on the board of that business. And then there's so many different options that you can go with. So it doesn't need to be, some people just want to go, I'm out. I'm retiring, I'm out.
Finished. Sure.
Some people go, oh, no, that's cool. Because the suicide rate goes, I think it's like 50% higher within 1 month after retiring.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. 65 to 68 is the most common level of suicide after people have retired from their job and or business.
Wow.
Crazy, right? Like, because then you go, oh, no, I'm not worth anything to anyone.
Wow.
And how do you change your routine like that? If you haven't already trained for it, I mean, think
Mm.
about it. We used to go into work every day.
So
And
used
there's
to
only
getting
so
up,
much
going
holidays
to
you can
work.
take. There's only so much fishing you can go on.
Yeah,
There's only
sure.
like it's all of that, isn't it? Like you get a bit, all right. Like with me, even if I've got 2 weeks off, I'm like, cool, but take 3 months off. And I'm like, all right, what are we going to do today? Down by the pool again, do you know what I mean? And I'm already fortunate that I can write or do stuff or,
Mm.
mingle. That's why I need to kind of be tinkering, doing something, So, and that's what happens. So some people go, look, I don't want to have to go to work every day, but I don't want to go,
I
hanging
don't
out
want
with
to,
I don't want to
yeah,
hang out with the missus all day, right?
I don't want to do nothing. There needs to be some level of purpose.
Yeah,
So,
hang out with the missus or the missus hang out with the husband all day. God, he's going to send me nuts. And this happens, right? It's retirement,
right.
technically. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Okay, good. Can you give us a rapid fire on the 5 again, Nick? If you're thinking of selling your business, it's going to take time, by the way. I wanted to throw that into the mix as well. It's not a quick fire, let's do it tomorrow type scenario. But can you roll us through the 5 considerations again,
yeah.
Nick, very quickly, please?
So number one, what's the model? Is it relying on you or can it not have to rely on you?
Yeah.
Number two is, how's the revenue come through the door? Is it monthly recurring revenue? Is it contractors, non-contracted? All that. Number three, how processed is the business? Like what have you got to be able to make sure that every part of it has a process so people can come in and easily keep moving with it.
Mm-hmm.
Number four, is there some expansion options? What option do you have to either buy other businesses or expand within the territory that you have or the marketplace? And number five, obviously, what type of sale do you want? Once you go to sell it, you want to take some considerations. Do you want to all out, or do you want to be in for a little bit and just keep moving and, have your hand in it, but you don't have to be there all the time? That's a lot of people do that because, you don't want to, what do you do after you retire? You got to figure out something, that's how it
Yeah,
is.
the rest of
Because
your
you're
life.
conditioned all your life to do a particular way to do stuff.
Very true. Guys, if you've found this episode really helpful, then reach out to us, throw us some love, throw us a comment, say thanks, or shoot us an email to askitupcoach.com.au. Alternatively, if you're thinking about wanting to, jump into the idea of on selling your business or creating a saleable business, then you can also reach out to us as well at askitupcoach.com.au. We can provide you with some advice on what you need to do to get started. Thank you so much for your time again today, Nick.
Awesome. It was a great topic.
It was good. And we'll see you all again next week. Bye now.
Bye.